Happy New Year! It's Blair, and I'm back with you to talk about the last chapter in our Smart System Data project. I know those holidays just flew by, but we expect that you deliver yourself a nice present in December and built out a really strong monthly report template. Today's topic is going to cover a number of things all centered around data collection and how to better utilize the Smart System. Part of what I'm going to discuss will probably introduce some new ways of thinking about your stats. So let's get started. First, I want to talk about the concept of delivery standards or minimums. Many of the places we serve have contractual standards for how many times something must be completed in a period. For example, our MBTA program in Boston requires a specific number of elevator checks per hour, while we have some downtown districts that require each block face to be swept each day and each block face to be power washed once per month. This concept might be somewhat different than what you might be used to, as you might measure only how many pounds of trash you collect. When we provide sweeping to a block face, we're delivering a unit of service, not necessarily related to how much litter we collect, for example. What we've done is we've demonstrated that we've delivered a service for each block in that district. In this case, when a block face is cleaned, regardless of how much trash, if any, was on the block, the cleaner marks the block face as being cleaned. The same concept applies to power washing. Therefore, if you know you have 60 blocks in your area, then you'd expect to have a minimum of 60 block faces swept each day. If you look at a map of stats for the day and you filter it by block faces swept, you should see a pin at each corner of each block. If you're looking for your table of stats for the day and you have less than 60, then there's probably some type of deployment issue, staffing issue, or maybe people just aren't correctly entering their stats in the Smart System. And what this means is you need to make some adjustments. So again, this is point number one, which is all about service delivery units. Again, this could be for nearly anything as you establish a minimum requirement. It could be for 20 business contacts if you expect that each of your 4 safety ambassadors complete 5 business checks per day. That equals 20. Now that you understand how to establish and monitor checks for minimum service deliveries, I want to talk about the next concept, which is pacing. Let's say you establish that your team should be doing 30 business contacts per day, or 900 for the month. You should be thinking about how you're pacing as the month progresses. If you're expecting 900 business contacts at the end of the month, and you're at the 15th day of the month, how many should you realistically expect? That's right, you'd expect about 450 business contacts by the 15th day of the month, which is half of the 900. If you aren't at 450, then obviously you not only need to do the remaining 450, but you also need to do more to make up for the goal that you're trying to hit at the end of the month. You should check your stats each week to see how you're pacing toward your goal based on being a quarter, a half, or 3/4 to your goal, with each week representing a quarter of the month in theory. This is easily done using the stat variance report. So there you have it. That's the concept of pacing. I want to talk to you about the third concept, which is trending. You don't want to get into a month and be trending wildly different than the month or the months prior, because that creates a lot of questions when you present your report. Now, sometimes you're just going to have variances. For example, when the weather changes and it gets cold like it is in a lot of places right now, you're probably not going to have as many hospitality interactions. Maybe you're adding your seasonal staffing and you'd expect your stats to go up, so therefore your stats will likely change. But the key here is you should still check each week to see how you're trending against the same number of days in the previous months. To do this, you should utilize your stats variance report and be sure to set the type dropdown to date. This will allow you to see how you're trending against previous periods so you can course correct if something really doesn't make sense or you're just behind. Okay, I know I just threw a lot at you, a lot of new concepts. As you start to think about these metrics and you start thinking about where you should be within each month, it's important to determine who's contributing on the team and who might not be completing the right amount of tasks in the field. Now, what I'm telling you is really, really important. Please don't try to do this on your own. You should empower your supervisors who have access to the Smart Portal to review activity for their shift and evaluate who might need further development or maybe there's a training issue on entering stats. Either way, it's important for you or your supervisors to identify those specific ambassadors who are not active enough with their actual activity or with their stat entry and work with them to make sure they're contributing to the stats. The best report to use on this is your Stats by Ambassador report. So that's it for next level data concepts. We've shared with you the concepts of establishing minimum stats, pacing, and trending. Now, these are important enough that we're going to add a weekly task to your tracker that says smart pacing and trending. This is going to be your weekly reminder to check your variances against where you are against the previous month and against how you should be pacing to reach your service objectives for the end of the month you're in. We think these concepts are going to be really valuable. We've also talked about identifying team members who need training or accountability for contributing to stats and how to use your supervisors to help with those responsibilities. Okay, I know today's been a lot, but before I go, a few parting housekeeping issues. Please make sure when you're in the monthly report module and you're going to build a new report template, you click on the big plus sign to start a new template or to add a new page or to add an item. And I call those items widgets. Could be a graph, could be a chart, a picture, etc. The idea here is the plus sign is your friend. That allows you to get to the next step. Also, make sure you check out the picture handling that's been significantly updated as well. Now, we've added some additional support to our Smart System team. Frank Johnson is our new Smart Systems Customer Success Specialist who is assisting Tina Durbin, who you all know. They both want you to know as you're building out your reports, if you're adding a new element like a graph, a chart, or other element, and you're trying to get it set up for the first time as you're in your template, don't get stuck on anything. Don't waste hours of time trying to figure something out. Submit a ticket and one of them will set up a time to work with you to get this in place. Remember, this is all about setting up your template. Once you get it set up, you should be pretty good month after month. All right, that's it for our Smart System Data Enhancement Project. I want to thank you for taking the time over the last 4 months to better dial in your reporting going into this new year. So with that, thanks for everything you do, and Happy New Year.